So, ladies and gentlemen, the curtains to the 2025-26 La Liga season has officially been put down, ladies and gentlemen. It is officially over. And yeah, unfortunately, guys, we didn't finish in a high note. We ended up taking an L on the final game of the season. And look, at the end of the day, guys, there's nothing to rant about. There's nothing to talk about because it's been a great season domestically. We have absolutely dominated and we are the champions. We have already got the work done. And let's be honest, we had nothing to play for. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the post-match reaction, guys. Unfortunately, guys, apologies for all of the people who obviously know I do a post-match stream, guys. Unfortunately, guys, some circumstances are the reasons why I didn't have time to do the post-match stream, guys. But this is the match reaction of the Valencia versus Barcelona game, which, like I mentioned, did end with Barcelona losing the game by 3-1 goals by Javi Guerra, Luis Rioja, and Hugo Rodriguez for Valencia, and obviously the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Lewandowski, getting a goal on his final ever game in a Barcelona shirt. And we're gonna get straight into everything, guys, into this game, guys. And yeah, listen, from the start, I wasn't surprised at all. And let's keep it 100, guys, right? We lost this game, and let's be real. Is anyone surprised that we lost? You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. I'm not surprised that we lost this game because if you look at the circumstances of both of these teams coming into this game, right? Valencia needed this win more than we did, right? I literally had nothing to play for apart from pride. That is it. That's the only reason we played this game, right? Valencia, on the other hand, they actually needed this game. As you guys, can see from the table here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just show you guys how important this game was to Valencia. As you can see, guys, look at the table. Look at that. Look at the table from 9th all the way to 18, guys, right? Barely any amount of points, guys. That was literally there, right, between them and the drop. And depending on how results went today, they could have potentially been relegated, right? So they had everything to play for in this game today. So they were the ones that were showing the impetus, and that did not surprise me at all, right? It did not surprise me that they gave it their go, and they did deserve the victory. They were the better team by far. But as far as the lineup is concerned, guys, no surprises. We saw a lot of changes today. Chesney in goal. Gerard Martin was in the defense alongside Ronald Araujo, with Eric Garcia out in the right back position with Alejandro Balde. Gavi today started in the midfield alongside Pedri, so alongside Bernal. No Pedri today in the lineup. And Dani Olmo was on the 10 with Ferran Torres on the right, Rashford on the left, and Robert Lewandowski, the man, the myth, the legend, on his final ever game in a Barca shirt. And look, let's be real, right? That first half, right? They were basically, doing their thing, right? They played very, very well. They were the dominant team, right? And they played like they wanted it more. Let's be honest. They played like they wanted it more. They played like they really wanted to give it a go. And at the end of the day, we were not just slacking off. Don't get it twisted, right? We also created some few good chances in that first half. But really, it was really a hot potato, hot tossing around between both teams. There was really not much, to talk about in that first half. We, held on to the fire. We had a few good chances. So did Valencia. But in the end, there was no goals in the first half. And then we went to the second half and, we did see some changes. Araujo came off. Christensen, right? Once again today, he came on the second half. And I'm going to talk about some of the players that are basically their impacts, especially with him. But things did improve in the second half, and then we did get the goal. And Barcelona were the ones who actually opened the floodgates for the goals today, with Robert Lewandowski scoring on the hour mark. Purchase finish, what we know Lewandowski for, being in the right positions, right place, right time, right? Put a flick of a foot on it and then got his goal, guys. And yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, man, what an emotional goal that was. I'm not going to lie to you. I was watching the game, and when he scored, bro, you would have thought he scored a cup final goal the way I celebrated, right? It was that emotional because, at the end of the day, this is his final game. And it's just like Lewandowski. It's just like Robert Lewandowski to actually score on his final ever game in a Barca shirt. And yeah, he got the goal. And, at the end of the day, Valencia, they didn't give up. They didn't give in. and they were completely on our necks, gave us absolutely no room to breathe. They kept on going forward, and they got lucky, right? At the end of the day, their luck, paid off. And 5 minutes later, it was 1-1. Javi Guerra with a beautiful strike, scored an amazing goal, and you saw the reaction in the stadium, man. Like, there was definitely a nervous feeling in the air in that stadium when Lewandowski scored. But when Guerra got the goal, the stadium was absolutely rocking. They got the goal. And, at the end of the day, even before the equalizer, right, there was a talk of a penalty for Valencia, right, with Javi Espar basically, kicking the player. And there was a lot of debate on why the penalty wasn't given. Basically, from what I deduced from the video and basically from what the commentators were saying, is that basically the shot was already taken before the foul was made. And in, I guess, the rules, in La Liga rules, if, let's say, the tackle was obstructing a potential goal or a potential shot, or basically prevented the shot from happening, then it would have been a straight up penalty. But because the shot was already taken, it doesn't matter. Now, make of that what you will, guys, in the comment section below as far as that is concerned, right? But in the end, we ended up, still conceding the equalizer. And yeah, we didn't even have time to breathe. Within like 4 minutes later, we ended up conceding. 5 minutes later, it was 2-1, right? Luis Rioja scored, the goal. And yeah, at the end of the day, they got the goal. And yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. It was really sloppy in the defense. And this is where I need to, mention. And there's Christensen. This guy has been injured all season, right? And look, I've been one of the people that have said, I don't remember seeing this guy ever having a bad game. Well, would you look at that? Comes back from injury, and yeah, he absolutely stunk when he came on. Like, absolutely stunk. Like, well, he came on and our defense looked absolutely dreadful, right? That was not a good substitution by Hansi Flick at all, right? And in the end, we did, concede another one, and we could have even considered a second penalty with Mark Bernal, which was given, but then was ruled to be outside of the box, and we got lucky there. And look, at the end of the day, we didn't even attempt, right? There was really no fight in the team, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and just start going off and criticizing, because at the end of the day, the season is over, right? These guys, a lot of these guys are not gonna, who break their necks. Like, let's be real, a lot of these Barcelona players have a World Cup to be in. And you could tell, like, a lot of these guys were trying to not get injured or try to push themselves, potentially put themselves in danger of getting injured. And, in the end, we could have almost, got the equalizer with a mistake from the Valencia defense, which the goalkeeper, reacted quickly, and he was able to save them. But in the end, we just held, we didn't really play much. And in the end, it was 3-1, right? In the end, Hugo Rodriguez, finally putting the nail in the coffin. And basically, Valencia, like I mentioned, it was a much deserved victory. And, at the end of the day, they needed the victory today. So it is what it is. And yeah, that was it. The final whistle went, the curtain call. And yeah, it was very emotional, obviously, because of Lewandowski. That was it. His final ever game. I'm happy that he got the goal. Would have loved for it to be the winning goal, but we can always get what we want. In the end, Lewandowski, what a legend, scored on his final ever game. That is exactly what we wanted to see. And for me, that was really the highlight of the game today. That was really the only highlight that you could really look at in this game. But at the end of the day, if we were looking at lowlights, I would say Andreas Christensen. I'm not going to go off on everyone who I didn't think played well. Obviously Rashford, another one, guys, who could be potentially playing his last ever game in a Barca shirt this season. I would have also liked to have seen Casado today get an opportunity, because let's be real, this would have potentially been his last ever game as well, right? I would have liked to have seen him, but in the end, it is what it is. Ronald Araujo also got a game today. Depends what happens in the summer. This could also be his last game in a Barcelona shirt. So yeah, it's very interesting. Guys like Ferran Torres as well, right? We're looking at a lot of these players who played today, and we don't even know this might be their last ever game. But yeah, it is what it is. In the end, Barcelona, we didn't finish in that, but it is what it is. But guys, let's quickly do a quick match ratings in this game, guys. In goal today, Chesney. unfortunately, Chesney, he did not have a good game today. And look, he's a backup keeper. He's a good backup keeper. At the end of the day, that's all he is. I'm not gonna put too much hope on him. For me, he gets honestly a 3 out of 10 because at the end of the day, you consider 3 goals. I'm sorry, you consider 3 goals. You were not good enough. Ronald Araujo, you know what? He had a good first half, came off in the second half. Well, I was very surprised by the fact that he got substituted. I thought maybe Gerard Martin would have been the one to get substituted, but in the end, Flick decided to bench him. But he had a good first half. He was rock solid in his first half. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. And yeah, hopefully, a club out there was watching so that they can sign him in the summer. Gerard Martin in defense today really didn't put a foot wrong. He wasn't really good in the second half. Honestly, I would give him a 6 out of 10, to be honest, or maybe a 5, depending on what you guys think. Alejandro Balde today at left back today, once again, poor. Poor, poor, poor. He was getting absolutely dominated on that side. I'm sorry. Luis Rioja was absolutely having his way with Alejandro Balde. He gets a 4 out of 10 from me. Eddie Garcia, he played an hour in this game. Really didn't put a foot wrong. I can't really think of a lot of things he did. Defensively, he wasn't really bad at all, right? He did his thing. I'll give him a 7 out of 10, to be honest. Mark Bernal today, man, almost gave away a penalty in that second half. Wasn't really bad, but wasn't really good. 5 out of 10. Gavi today in the midfield. I'm not gonna lie, Gavi was anonymous today, but to be fair, so were most of the players today. Yeah, I'll probably just give him a 4 out of 10, to be honest. Danny Olmo, poor, 5 out of 10. Marcus Rashford, again, 5 out of 10, to be honest. That was really much to talk about. But on to this, you know what? He didn't score today, but you know what, right? He actually wasn't bad at all today. He was probably the best, alongside Lewandowski would be, I would say, one of Barcelona's best players. But he gets give him a 6 out of 10. Robert Lewandowski, the man, the myth, the legend, got a goal on his final ever game. Yeah, I'll give him a 9 out of 10, just, because of that goal. And for being an incredible servant to this great club of ours, man. What a player, what a man, what a legend. And yeah, in the end, guys, like I mentioned, it's been a great season. Fantastic season. Barcelona, back-to-back league titles. Now we get to enjoy the summer now. Now that the season is over, it is time to get into the transfer window and start being ruthless, because next season we go again. Once again, brand new season, new objectives. But guys, what did you guys think of today's performance? And also, guys, what were your highlights and lowlights? What do you guys think about a lot of the players' performances? Do you look from what you saw today, guys? Which players did you think that they're done? You don't want to see them again? And also in the comment section below, let me know, guys, the list of players that you guys want to keep and you guys want to sell. As we're gonna get into all of this, guys, you're gonna be seeing a lot more videos, guys, during this week, guys, as I do a season preview of all of the players, guys, individually, from the players to the managers to everyone, guys. We're gonna get into all of it. But big up to every single one of you guys. As always, make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all of the beautiful stuff. And Vesca Barca. Take care.